Now, as for the 2 campus visits we have on slate for today, we'll start with Nebraska, where all eyes are on Adrian Martinez, ready to be the starting QB for his 4th year. To get an idea where his brain's at these days, Howard Griffith sat down with him.
Pleased to be joined by Adrian Martinez. How did practice go today?
It went good. Excited to be out here and get another fall camp practice in.
Tell me how you've grown as a leader away from the field.
Yeah, well, I'd say the biggest area I've grown in is allowing others to lead themselves on the offensive side of the ball. And on defense as well. We have a lot of great veteran players who want to lead and want to be great leaders, and I've been able to rely on them.
A little bit of adversity for you last year personally on the field. How have you grown from that experience?
Definitely. Well, it's not the first time I've faced adversity in my life, and even here as a Nebraska Cornhusker. But I saw it as another test, another challenge, and something to overcome. And thankfully, I got another opportunity to come back, and I've used it to fuel me for this season.
One of the things I noticed when I first walked in here was just the way you're put together right now. It looks like you've gone through a little transformation as far as your body's concerned.
I definitely have. I would say I've leaned up a little bit and feel great. Feel great running the ball, feel great throwing the ball, and that's what matters.
Talk to me a little bit about the running back situation here. Guys are fighting for that spot. How do you see it shaking out?
Yeah, well, I see it as iron sharpens iron, and there's a lot of guys in that room who could play, and the best one will come out on top, and whether that's by committee, which I'd say it most likely will be. We have a lot of guys who can ball, and I'll have faith in whoever's back there with me.
One of the things that also jumped out at me was this tight end group.
Yeah.
They got a chance to be really special, and how is that going to work into the game plan?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about them. We don't have to talk about them too much. We'll keep them under the radar for now.
No, don't worry about it. We all know about them now.
We'll find out about them come week 1, but super excited and thankful they're on our side.
What's it mean to have a big opponent, Big Ten opponent in the first week? How does that change the mentality?
It's huge. Playing Illinois week 1, that's what we're working towards, and that has all the potential to set up our season for us and be a huge momentum turner.
Success this year for you guys is defined how?
Getting better day by day. I know that's cliche, but that's what we have to strive for, and that's week by week, day by day, getting better, stacking days, and we're doing that right now. We have to continue to do it, and the rest will take care of itself.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us. Stay healthy and have a great year.
Thank you.
Athletic director in Trev Albert, and that's on top of the fact that Frost has yet to have a winning season while the head coach at Nebraska. A lot of eyes on him as he starts his 4th year there. He gave some time to Dave.
Pleased to be joined by Nebraska head coach Scott Frost. Early in camp, obviously, but what are your biggest impressions so far of this group?
Probably biggest impression is just the enthusiasm and excitement that the guys have. We got a lot more experience than we've had, a lot more talent than we've had, but the biggest thing I'm excited about is just the attitude overall of the team and each individual.
What do you attribute that to, a change in attitude?
I think just getting the right kind of guys in here. We have the right leaders now, and that's going to go a long way. When your leaders are the hardest practicing players, the hardest workers, and doing the job, everybody else sees the example and knows what to follow.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of starting before everyone else?
The season gets longer, so we're going to have to make sure and manage that the right way and give them some time off within the body of the season. But it's great to be the first people going. Playing a team that we have an idea what they're going to do, but we're not really sure with the new staff. So we're going to try to address that a little earlier and try to get as ready as we can.
First couple days in pads, how do you integrate guys into the contact?
Yeah, slowly. We try not to have too much live contact too fast. You're always walking a tightrope as a coach between getting the guys ready and making sure you're not doing too much and getting guys hurt. And we've been lucky so far, so we'll keep pushing them as much as we can.
You mentioned Adrian. There's been a lot of buzz about him, particularly in the way that he remade his body. What have you seen from him here early on in terms of taking the next step?
He's playing at a high level right now, so I'm excited for the opportunity he has to have the type of year that I know he can have. He's surrounded by a lot better talent now, and the best thing is I feel like he's really comfortable in his role with the pressure of being a Nebraska quarterback. He's had some highs and lows already, and I really like his state of mind right now.
Give me a sense for the running back spot.
Running back's kind of one that's still open for competition. A lot of the other spots are solidified or will be solidified soon. We're trying to find the lead horse in the backfield, and been really impressed with that group through the first few practices here, so we'll see who comes out on top. I want this team to be efficient and be tough and just continue to get better day by day. If we do that, the wins will come.
Coach Scott Frost, great to see you as always. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.
Oh, one streak Frost would love to see end is this one. 12 straight losses versus AP-ranked teams. Nebraska's last win against a ranked opponent came against Oregon in September of 2016. Joshua Perry and Jerry DiNardo have some final thoughts from Lincoln.
All right, DiNardo, wrapping up day one of this tour. It's going to be a pleasure with you. What are your initial reactions from what you saw today?
You know, it's a funny answer. Comfort. It seemed like the team was more comfortable with the staff and everything they were doing than previous camps that we've been to. A lot of enthusiasm. First day in full pads, I think it was maybe 10 minutes into practice, and they had a scrimmage, so it was a physical practice. I think this is the most talented team Scott's had.
I definitely agree with that, and one of the things that you said in the physicality really stood out to me, and I think that's been a point of emphasis for them. Especially when you kind of look at defensively, those guys finishing plays at the ball, all of that stuff. I would say that the tempo was exactly what you need early on in camp. These guys are fresh, obviously, but you need to see the commitment early on from them. I know you've got some thoughts about the offense and what you saw there.
Depth in the offensive line, I think that's, and this isn't unusual because Scott's been here a while, but deeper and probably more talented than the offensive line has been in recent years. And historically, Nebraska's always had great offensive lines. They haven't had it in recent years. It looks like Logan Smothers is the second-team quarterback by the way they were rotating through. Running back's probably the one position on both sides of the ball where I don't think they really know what they're going to do. Marquise Stepp, the transfer from Southern Cal, He's not at 100% yet, but I thought he did some good things. I thought Savion Morrison also looked good. So depth in the offensive line, they need to find out second quarterback and starting tailback.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that tailback probably ends up being one of those by-committee situations, looking at some of the depth they have there. Defensively, one of the things that really stood out was how that defensive line was on the move, and I think that they're going to be a team that can get a lot of pressure that way. Those guys look like they were intense. They look like they wanted to really get after the quarterback as a point of emphasis, and then you start to watch the secondary, and you saw in some of the 7-on-7 drills where those guys were making it a point to get the tips and making it a point to finish off the plays. Any ball that was on the ground, they were scooping it up. And I think that's big for their mentality because we saw they did take some steps last year, I think, in terms of physicality on defense. But now it's really wrapping it all together. They were in a lot of close games. They got to be able to take the ball away, and I think that's going to be really important for them.
No doubt.
Pleased to be joined here by Jojo Domann, finishing up one of your intense practices. Just want to get your initial thoughts on what went on today.
Yeah, today was competition day. We really went after it today. Defense got the best offense, but they got us in one-on-ones and 7-ons, so we were really working the rest of the day to get back at them and really brought the guys together, rallied the troops, and we got it done.
Yeah, and you could see kind of that intensity really at the start of practice. You guys kind of went good on good there for a period to get started off. Talk about just that mentality that you guys have coming in and being aggressive.
Yeah, Frost is really trying to get us to compete and to take it to that next level. So to start off good on good, you have to bring it from the first snap and through the rest of practice. So it's really iron sharpens iron, and that's our mentality.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed today was how the defensive line was getting after the offensive line. Those guys were doing some stunts. They're moving around. As a linebacker, how important for you is it to see those guys play well?
Yeah, it's huge. Coach Tuioti is doing a great job. We got a lot of depth, a lot of senior leadership on that D-line, so those guys are doing a great job, making it easy on us.
And then talking about just you as a player, see a lot of versatility out there. You're walking up toward the line of scrimmage, getting in on the blitzes, fit in well with the run game, but we also see you in that pass coverage there. What does your versatility bring to this defense?
Yeah, whatever I can do to help our team win. I think it helps give the offense different looks, keep them on their toes, and really just doing whatever's asked of me. If that's rushing the passer, if that's fitting in the A gap, or if that's covering it down on number 2, I'll do it.
Yeah, you talked about earlier the offense kind of getting the best of you at times. You've got some really good players there. Obviously, spotlight on the quarterback in Martinez, but I saw some tight ends out there making plays. I saw some running backs. What does that offense bring to the table?
Yeah, they bring explosiveness and big plays, and each and every one of us across the board has to prove ourselves. And I know the offense is got that mentality. So Samari Torre, Omar Manning, Gabe Irwin, Adrian, the tight ends, I mean, all those guys are bringing it every day, and we got a lot of depth. So really excited to see those guys make plays.
And I'll finish with this. You've got a week 0 game, obviously an early start to the season, a Big Ten matchup. What has the point of emphasis been for your team in making sure you're prepared for that game?
It's about us. It's about building trust in this locker room within these guys, and then put in the work so that we can reap what we sow on Saturday. So, I mean, it's about us, and we earn it each and every day. It ain't going to just happen on Saturday. We're going to take care of business today, tomorrow, and the next one, and let the result take care of itself.
Love to hear it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Visiting with Coach Matt Lubick, offensive coordinator here at Nebraska. Coach, some goals that you have for camp and how you're going to achieve them?
You bet. Well, the biggest thing is consistency, at every position, and we have some battles that are up for grabs, and the players that are the most consistent, doing things right on a consistent basis, those are the guys who are going to play for us. And then being very detailed. And what I mean by detailed is last year, our biggest enemy was ourselves. False starts, holdings, turning the ball over. That's all stuff that we can control. That's stuff that has nothing to do with talent. And so really just improving on that and not beating ourselves. Once we get that, then it's kind of into execution and the functioning of our plays. But if we can get those things accomplished, get some consistency position by position, and be more detailed, we're going to be better.
How do you coach the no talent issues? I mean, what do you say to a player to cut down on the penalties, cut down on the turnovers, those type of things?
Sure. Well, we emphasize the heck out of it. We have a lot of team meetings showing the right way to do it, and how if you do it the wrong way, how it can hurt not just you, but hurt the football team. So that's part of it. And then I really think if you do things technique-wise in your drill work and emphasize hand placement, getting inside, foot placement, snap count, that's where it starts. So we really do it all day long. We do it in meetings, and then we do it again in practice.
Fair to say running back's one of the questions where you're not really solid yet on your depth?
Sure.
Bring us up to date on
Yeah. So we lost a guy last year who was a good player in Mills, and so we think we have a lot of capable guys, but we were trying to find which guys are the guys. We'd like to have 2 or 3 guys kind of separate. They're all doing some good things, but we've only had 5 practices too, and today was actually the first day of live work, so it's kind of a work in progress. But we have 5 guys that are all doing some good things, and which we like. It makes a tough decision on us to see who is going to separate.
You've coached the spread most of your career as an offensive coach. Trends defensively, how have they adjusted? Are you expecting certain things more as we go forward?
Yeah, part of the spread is literally that, is spreading out the field and making them defend the whole field vertically and horizontally. And I think, when it first came about with Chip Kelly, and there's a read on every single play, it's new, and I think, whenever it came about 8 or 9 years ago, people have adjusted. So we got to evolve. And so we found we still have elements of we always want to spread the field, but we have the ability to go fast, we have the ability to go slow. We have the ability to run hard downhill and also get to the ball at the perimeter, and we think we have the ability to throw the ball down the field. So what we really got to work on, because the defensive result is not being predictable and not being one-dimensional. And so that's our big focus, because, the defenses, have just gotten better at covering the field.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
Have a great season.
Thank you.
The latest installment from the You Never Know Where Life is Going to Take You department. Very pleased to be joined by a former colleague of mine in what seems like a former life. Now the Nebraska AD, Trev Albert. It's great to see you, my friend.
Thank you, Dave. It's great to be here. Thank you all for being here. We're really grateful to have the Big Ten Network here in Lincoln.
Well, it's been a fantastic day. First of all, what does it feel like to hear that? Does it seem a little surreal still? I mean, we're only a few weeks in, Nebraska Athletic Director Trev Albert.
It is a little surreal. Obviously, I have a deep love and care of this place and had such a tremendous student-athlete experience here, long time ago already, obviously, but this is a really special place to our family. It changed my life, and so to have an opportunity to be back here working with some great people and being a part of a football program like this and Coach Frost and doing our part to try to help them be successful is really exciting.
One thing that always fascinates me when people take over big jobs where you're in charge is kind of there's that rush of emotion. There, in this case, a job like this one, there's a press conference, you get introduced, you do a bunch of interviews and shake a lot of hands, kiss a lot of babies, and then at some point you end up, whether it's in your office or alone in a moment where it's just you, and you say, well, I got a lot to do. What was at the top of the list of I got a lot to do when you finally got that private moment?
Well, for me, and it's always been, had a chance to be a part of a lot of different organizations and watch great leadership. In the last 12 years for me, in a sister institution in this state, were really, really important and helpful. But I've learned so much about the importance of trust in organizations. And so, as you mentioned, this is a complex organization. There's a lot to learn. The first thing I realized, Dave, is I can't do this by myself, right? I mean, I have some strengths. I got a lot of weaknesses. And so what I got to do is I got to find out, who we can trust, who we can work with, and who we can depend on. But more importantly, it's no secret that the football program at the Power 5 level is really, really important to the athletic department, and it's extraordinarily important to this state. Football at the University of Nebraska is, the thing in the state of Nebraska. And so my job is to, I know Scott, got a lot of respect for Scott Frost and our coaching staff, but I didn't play with Scott, so a lot of that is developing that relationship, developing that trust. He and I share kind of a unique bond in a sense that we both had a really special student-athlete experience here. So I think for me, from the beginning, it was, look, we got a lot of work to do administratively, and we'll work on that. But as we're going here, it's going to be really critically important to establish that level of communication and trust with the football apparatus to make sure we're on the same page, because it's hard enough to be successful. In this league, you have no chance of being successful if you're not aligned, working together towards a common goal, and that's what I'm committed to.
Okay, so communication, trust, a big part of it. What do you see, though, from an X&O point of view as someone who played at the highest level that needs to be different here for Nebraska to be at the level that it expects to be at?
Well, one of the things that I've always thought, and I still believe in, is that I'm not the football coach. I'm not going to coach. I've never told a coach who to hire as a coach or who to recruit. But what I really am focused on is our program and is the culture of our program reflective of the ideals and the culture of our state, and that's what's really important. That's why this football program is so important to our state. I mean, people have a tremendous amount of pride in the University of Nebraska football team. So to me, and I said this at the press conference, but it really is some pretty small things. This is a fan base that expects you to look like it really matters to you, right? So in terms of how hard you play. This is a state that understands football, so they understand fundamentals. They'd like to see discipline. They don't want to see teams that beat themselves. They want to see a team that's unified and working towards a. And so for me, I want to see incremental growth. I want to see a program. You'll never hear me talk about you got to have this many wins. Around here over the last 20 years, and I've been in Omaha 12. We want to get back, right? We want to be that really relevant national program that's respected and admired. We're not going to get back there, Dave, by talking about the past or even thinking about when do we win the West or when do we get there by the basic fundamentals of what makes Nebraska or any program great. And that's just an awful lot of hard work. It's attention to detail. And it's the fundamentals of how we operate and building the culture that's sustainable long term. That's what I'm really focused on. We played games here all the time. We never even looked at the scoreboard. It was how we played, the effort we played with, and at the end, we won by 28 points. So that's what I'm focused on.
Okay, so part of getting it to that level is also facilities.
Yep.
We see some steam shovels in the ground here, just about 100 yards or so from here. Give us an update on where the new facilities stand here.
Yeah, things are going well. The Go Big projects, obviously, we've broken ground, and we're really excited about that. Frankly, we have really good facilities here. I mean, our fan base has done a tremendous job of supporting us and our donors, but as things have changed and other programs have evolved, we really think that this is a project that, again, is going to be a differentiator for us. One of the benefits of being later in this football-specific facility nationally is that we had an opportunity to look at what are some of the best attributes of a lot of people, and we've tried to bring that all together into one facility that we think is going to be a game changer. But as an athletic director, what I'm really excited about, it's not just a football piece. We're going to be able to impact a lot of student athletes through that. So really excited about that. Facilities matter, facilities inspire, and recruiting still obviously a very important piece of what we do. So I think if we combine a tremendous fan base, sold-out crowds for 375 straight games, the type of facilities that will support. This has always been a development program. This is a program that gives opportunities, and we develop young men. So I think that's going to be an important part. And then we need to do our part on the football field and in terms of how we play and wins and losses. And I think we get that done, Dave, we'll be really proud to be Cornhusker football.
You've taken over at a really dull and uneventful moment in the
it's an easy
world
time.
Of college sports. Yeah, there's not a whole lot happening. Let me ask you, obviously, look, there's a ton of transition. There's a major announcement here over the last couple of weeks in terms of realignment. Big picture, how do you feel like the Big Ten is positioned in this moment to move forward?
Well, first of all, I think we're extraordinarily privileged to be a member of the Big Ten Conference. I'll tell you what, I can't imagine what it would be like sitting in the athletic director chair right now if we were not a member of this conference. And so really pleased to be a part of the Big Ten. I think Commissioner Warren is doing a very good job of as we're going through this, of keeping the athletic directors and the presidents and chancellors informed. I think my perspective is expansion for the sake of expansion is not always the right move. And I think with what's happened with Texas and Oklahoma, it gives us a little bit of an insight into what some of others' strategies are. And so I think that we can then create an alternate strategy that's in the best interest of the Big Ten. And so I think we're very well positioned. We have great television partners, just like you guys, obviously. And so I think long term, the Big Ten is in a tremendous position to be able to capitalize on whatever happens. I think you'll see the Big Ten be deliberate and careful because we can. And if there are other institutions that bring great value to us and are aligned with our missions that make sense, we'll probably participate. But where we stand right now is in a very comfortable position.
Trev, it's a ton of fun. Great to see you again. Great to be working with you again, albeit in a different capacity. And welcome to the Big Ten.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Trev Albert. Let's go back to the studio.